what we need to do is to create a backup. So let's close this one as we don't need this one. So let's close this and click on Windows Backup. Now take note that Windows Backup by default is not installed into our Windows Server 2012. So you need to add a server roles and features. Just click on Manage, add roles and features, click Next, role base, and click the web server and click Next. Windows Backup is not a rules, it is a feature. Click on Feature and we find Windows Backup. Windows Server, as you can see, this is the Windows Backup, and you can also install the Windows Migration tool, which is a migration. You can migrate your server to a different hardware. It is a command line type of execution, so it's very difficult if you don't have background on Windows Server migration. So what you need to do is to check the Windows Server and click Install. So let's exit. That's how you install the Windows Backup server. Click on Close the Server Manager as we don't need that. So we now need to create a new backup. We can now backup once. So we are going to backup once only. So click Next, different option, the only option that is currently clickable, and click Next. Create a full server backup. So you need recommended as a full server, but we are now going to, I want to choose the custom volume because we have multiple drives. So we can click on Advanced, BC setting, choose option if you are not using any product backup. So BSS copy, choose option if you're using another backup application. Think that's the one. So click on items. We click on bare metal recovery. This one allows us to recover the whole system from a operating system image to repair the computer. The system state, the current state of the system. System reserve, these are all the data that is need by the operating system. We don't need to backup this because this is the use for an external drive. We just need to back up the local disk C, and the local disk E as the virtual hard disk that we created. We don't need that one because that's the place where we need to store the virtual hard disk file. So click on OK, double check, now it's correct. Now we added all the system state. Click Next. Where do we want to store the VHD file? The main backup is we want to store it onto the local hard disk drive. You can store it on a remote shared folder if one computer is connected to this physical Windows server. But for now, we are gonna have this local drives backup. Click Next. So we choose the local disk E as the main backup, which is the VHD file. So take note, the current size of the VHD file is 106 megabytes. So click Next. This Windows Server Backup Once wizard is showing you the whole information of the backup process. Let's click now the backup to initiate the backup. Now, Windows Server will take some time to copy the whole system state, including the whole real-time data, even if the server is currently running. This will take some time, and I think I should pause the video for a while and go back when the backup wizard completed its task. Now, after some time, the Windows Server backup is now complete. As you can see, we backed up here at September 24, 2018, 5:49 p.m. The description, successful backup. Now, if we navigate into the local disk D, which contain the backup. As you can see, the total size is 42 gigabyte and 900. So what we need to do is to close this Windows server, physical Windows server, and then remove the Windows backup and transfer it to the host, another host computer, where you will restore it using an installer of Windows Server. Let's close this one. Before we close, I think we should shut down, because we currently need this one as of the moment. Now this will shut down in a minute, and let's close this one. Open the VirtualBox. So what you need to do is to create a new virtual machine, but we will gonna use this Windows Server Web Server V2, which is the name of the computer. I always want to make the name of the virtual machine or the file more informative. So let's create now. So for example, this is a backup tutorial. Just for the sake of this tutorial, we need to I need to back up this one. As you find the Windows server, the target system, and choose your memory size. For me, I have 16 GB of RAM, so I can use at least port 4096 MB. Don't manually assign port, such as if you want to use a 4 gig, you enter 4 GB RAM. Don't use that one. You need to use the bit memory, which is started from 128.512 incremental by 2. So you should follow this one. We will not create a virtual hard disk, and it will create a virtual machine, but we don't want to create because I already created it. And all you have to do is click on settings, system, advanced. You want to make this shared clipboard to bidirectional, and the RAM, you should uncheck the floppy drive because we don't need that one. If you want to increase your CPU, as of my computer, I have 4 CPUs, so I can use the 2 CPU of it. So just note or tips, you can use your CPU in accordance to this green bar. So it is safe to use this 1 CPU until to 2 CPU. In some cases, if you have 8 cores, it will you have a capacity to use 4 CPUs or 4 to 6 CPUs, depending on the number of cores of your CPU. The display, just leave it to default. Storage, we don't create the hard disk. The next one is the audio. We disable the audio, as in Windows Server we don't need audio. Network, just switch it to bridge adapter so that the IP of this virtual machine will be a family or a gateway of the same as the host computer that is VirtualBox is currently running on. Serial, just make it to default. USB, default. Shared folder, you can assign a folder from any host folder here so that we can access it via network, and click OK. The next one is assigning the VHD. Let me just transfer the external drive that we use to back up the Windows Server from a Windows Server computer into this host computer. Now, as what you can see here, we have here the backup of the host computer. We will be trying to add the VHD to this virtual machine, as if it was a physical hard drive of this virtual machine. So click on settings again, click on storage, and click on hard disk. we should be able to create a disk for this system to be used as a primary disk. We should name this as WinServe. Again, let's make the name little bit more informative. WebServe v2, and it is primary. As a primary disk, let's try to specify the location of the virtual hard disk. We can put it, it depends on you, but I try to be organized, so we can save it here. Now we can use the BDI to be able for us to use the virtual box disk image. The same as Windows Server, we set it to dynamically allocated, and I always want to try to 120 GB as a preferred size of virtual hard disk primarily for the disk system. Let's create that one, and now this will hold the operating system. So let's add the backup VHD. Let's create that one. Choose the existing disks and navigate into the backup and choose the backup VHD that we previously created using the Windows Server computer management. Now open this one, and the last thing to do is to add the operating system ISO image. Here we have Windows Server 2012 R2, and I think all of the setup is complete. We have the primary system, we have the backup drive, and we have the operating system image which will be used to load the operating system repair mode. Click OK.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, click subscribe. More to come. Click here to play this video.